You don't know what you don't know until you know.
What?
You're listening to
Jom Sembang Malaysia.
Okay, today's episode, alright, is actually inspired by this poster.
Okay.
This poster has this big title that says, you don't know a person until, and then it has 4 scenarios.
Oh, okay.
So I thought we can discuss the scenarios lah.
Okay.
As if there are prompts for us to talk about lah, okay? So the first scenario is, you don't know a person until you travel with them.
Oh, yes.
Come, share some experience.
Okay, the first one that comes to mind is, I didn't realize this guy was so talkative and so inquisitive until we traveled with him. I wasn't sitting next to him, but I was sitting behind him. And then I realized, wow, he can go on and on and on and on and on and on.
Like, where do you know this guy?
I think extrovert. Team member.
Oh, team
working,
member lah.
Yeah, we were on a work trip together.
So during the work, like when you are working in the office or where, he's not very talkative.
It didn't occur, like quite
Focus at work and all that, okay.
But suddenly in the plane, right, then I realized the entire trip was like non-stop. Then I realized, wow, very extrovert this guy. That is just traveling, just in the plane or in the car. And
you're really tired.
Yeah, actually a little bit. Good thing he wasn't like talking to me. But you haven't started about travel in terms of how flexible or inflexible with food and fussy and punctuality and all that. I haven't even touched that lah. I don't know what's your most aha moment when you travel with someone?
I realize I'm a very fluid person.
Okay.
So I think my first experience of really traveling with a friend is a banking friend. We're not very close. But I just remember she said she wants to go for a holiday. And you know how I am, I already told you what. If I can do lah. And I thought, since we can enjoy a meal and then sometimes we walk to the MRT together, it doesn't sound that bad to actually go on a holiday since we are different departments. We can take leave and do it lah. Like, I don't have to go and find another friend to do it lah. And since she wanted to go anyway, so she sounds like she have a plan. So we went for a holiday to, I think, up north one, some beach lah, Pulau Pangkor, Damai Laut or something like that. And I realized that during that trip is where I learned a lot of things that I thought I know her well enough. I already see her cry. I already see her eat wasabi to cry.
Same friend.
The same friend, you know, the same friend that I need to manage when she's sad or she have a situation or whatever. Is it like, you feel like even though we know each other for like 6 months at time, like it's a very compact 6 months. Like, you know, quite a lot of bond is there lah. Because of the whole walking to the MRT together, take the train to a certain level. So you talk a lot when you spend commune time together. So it's like, when I travel with her, then I realized there's this part of her that I've never noticed before. For example, like, I know that she really cares about her beauty care, her makeup and all that.
Oh, okay.
But I don't expect people to bring up 20 products and fill up the whole dressing table or whatever, you know, the sink area. And I'm like, okay, I just need a cup for my toothpaste and my toothbrush, you know. And I realized that, that's the extent people go through to be presentable the way they want to be presented to others. That's one thing. But the fact that they don't even compromise during travel was amazing. Like,
in terms of?
Like, hello, you traveling? Can't you just bring 5 products?
I
mean, my brain would tell me that lah. For example, I also want to bring 10 t-shirts lah, but I'm traveling, I just bring 2 lah, you know?
Okay.
So those are some things that is really like, for me, wow. I mean, it might bother people, it might not. It doesn't bother me because, number 1, I'm fluid. Number 2, I don't do extensive makeup lah, you know. I don't even do makeup.
What makeup?
Okay?
Yeah. What extensive?
Okay? So, right, imagine if she have gone with someone like her who bring another 20 products.
Oh, then they need their own room lah.
But yeah, it's just knowing that certain extent. But I think when you travel with someone, there is also the first degree of traveling is just on the road. Take a flight or go somewhere or whatever. But at the end of the day, you still go back to your own hotel room.
Okay. Yes,
so that itself, you have certain habits that you might pick up. For example, like, this fella eat very slow. This fella is forever go toilet. This fella or whatever. Then you learn about them, might be good or bad lah. Alright. Then you have the second degree one where you actually have to share a room, right? Well, that one is like totally different level where, you know, like, the fella snore, don't snore. The fella, light must open one. So this friend of mine cannot sleep in the dark one.
Oh.
She cannot, number 1, cannot sleep alone. Number 2, she doesn't like complete darkness.
Okay.
So it's not like my parents will like keep the toilet light on a bit, one jar, so that they can see where toilet and don't trip over, right?
Mine
That is like must got lamp light next to the side, like
wow,
like semi bright, not
Okay.
darkness. So
And
I'm
is-
like,
okay, yeah, sure.
then I'm like, oh. So then I learned a lot of things. Then I learned because of that trip, every time she has to go for work somewhere, travel overseas one, or like abroad one, she'll call me. I cannot sleep alone, you know, right? So my job is to go, she work, and then she come back. The idea is she doesn't sleep alone at night. So I just have to be in the hotel room when she sleeps.
But you can sleep or not? With the light and everything.
It's a compromise lor. That's why
But
we
you can,
learn
otherwise
about
when
each
she go
other
work,
lah.
then you sleep lah.
So we learn about it. So I learn, then I just bring my eye mask lor. Don't
Oh,
care,
oh,
you
oh.
close, you do whatever you want to do.
Ah.
Stuff like that lah.
Okay.
So that is certain things that I learn lah. So
Okay.
you actually will not know, especially things that is really in the bedroom one.
In the bedroom.
I mean, it sounds really wrong, but
Yeah.
we do a lot of things behind closed door that even you are friends with a person for 10 years,
Yeah.
if you have not shared a room, you will never know.
Okay, so this reminds me of the time when I traveled to Taipei with a younger friend, more like an acquaintance. So she had won a competition to travel to this conference lah.
Okay.
You win a competition. Experience lah. You get to represent Malaysia at this conference kind of thing. So I was rooming with her. So this girl's from Kelantan. I think at first, it's like any other teenager lah. I was slightly older, a few years older. But what struck me was we come from different background, different religion, different race.
Okay.
Yeah? For me, it was an eye-opener because when I wake up, she was praying.
Okay.
And then during lunchtime, she would like, okay, we faster eat. And then after that, I see you later, go and pray first. And then at night, the last thing I know is she's praying again. And then it struck me like, wow. I mean, to me, it's like, wow, this thing is like so real and so visible and so tangible. And I think it's something that I have never experienced. Because you got friends, what? They go,
Correct.
You don't know what they do before you see them in the morning. You
Correct.
don't know what they see last time at night. So I remember I was like, oh yeah, she praying. So I felt encouraged in my spiritual walk, although hers was a different one. But for me, it was like an eye-opener to a whole culture, a whole religion that is different from mine, that we see every day, but just never experience tangibleness. And I think also looking on the hunt of going to look for halal food, in Taipei.
Yeah.
And because I had been there before, I could bring her to, I knew which was the vegetarian places that she could eat. But yeah, it's like you experience that challenge of finding food that generally, if I go travel anywhere, whatever, so I can eat lah, But
Correct.
for her, there's that limitation, and living with that limitation, for me, it was really quite an eye-opener.
Really getting to know them. But there's also this thing where traveling, you don't really get to see the person fully.
Like?
Okay, put it this way, for example, you're staying in a hotel, 2 nights only, what?
Correct.
So whatever you do, you might compromise or whatever. So
yeah.
you don't really experience the person fully lah.
True.
For example, like me, right? If I go to the hotel room, there's only one place to put your luggage bag. I'm totally fine putting mine on the floor and
Okay.
leaving in my luggage.
Yeah.
Because I know it's temporary.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next thing on the poster, which is quite linked to this, is you don't know a person until you live with them.
Whoa.
So they cannot pretend anymore. Like holiday, you can pretend 2-3 days.
Cincai,
Yeah. I don't put full makeup, so never mind, or whatever lah, okay?
Yeah.
But if you're living together, let's say housemates for 6 months or a year,
Okay.
which I think you went Taipei, got housemate, right? Okay?
Yes.
So that kind of live together,
Okay,
right?
okay. Yeah.
That's when you really learn about a person lah. So what are some interesting things that you have learned about the person you live with, housemates lah? Let's not talk about family. It's a totally different thing
Wow, that's a
altogether.
long time ago. I remember staying with my brother and his wife for 6 months. I think this one you got to go first because Juwita and a blank slate. It's a bit hard.
So my housemates, I had 2 housemates and they are totally different personality. But I'm the main tenant lah.
Okay.
So the few things I learned is a bit shocking one was like they don't close the windows before they leave the house. When it rains, it can be flooded at that part of the window, and to them it's totally normal. To me, it's like, what's the window lah? If you're not around the house, just close the window lah. Why would want to let insects in or whatever in, So it's not entirely a bad thing, but I think when you live with a person is where a person cannot pretend very long, and therefore all the true colours will come out and you learn about them, the good and the bad. So I learned, for example, my housemate didn't care whether she put the carpet or the floor rug together with her clothes to wash in the washing machine. But I told myself, nah, my business course is not my clothes inside lah.
Yeah.
But it's like, huh?
Yeah.
Like no sense. And then when you try to like understand them and just chat about it, they're
It's
like,
okay,
also, yeah, okay,
Yeah,
right, you know.
yeah.
So those are some things that I'm like, huh? So you learn a lot about the habits and the thinking when you live with a person that you cannot see on a daily basis when you're friends, or even in a hotel room, because hotel holiday ma, you know, you don't have to do laundry.
Correct.
So you will never know that they don't separate their laundry, you know.
So mine was an eye opener, right? Because my mom, we always grew up sweep the floor every morning, make your bed every morning. So when I stayed with this friend, she was like, huh? Sweep the floor? No lah, once a week lah. You know, and then it started to occur to me like, oh, so actually this sweep the floor every day one is not a everyday normality in other households. I don't know whether it made me slack because now I don't sweep the floor every day. More like once a week. I don't know, or maybe it was just a generation thing. So that was one I remember.
So like it could be very simple stuff. Like my housemates don't like to wash the dishes immediately. They prefer to like today just stack. Tomorrow morning I wash. I prefer to whatever is it, by the end of the day you must wash, because otherwise I don't want to wake up to dirty dishes.
Okay.
Or my parents would say dirty dishes means dessert and rats will come at night when you're sleeping. So totally different. Then meeting halfway is very important lah.
I actually prefer to just do my own. If everybody just did their own dishes, right?
That's also true. So I did my own, but she didn't do her own. Hers is stacking and mine is not there lah.
Right.
So it's still like you at the end of the day, you have shared spaces to consider. But I remember I did most of my almost immediately, because I just don't like them pile up. Right. But I remember her is just stacking one corner going up. So if I'm washing mine, wash also lah. If I don't wash that, I don't complain lah. But yeah, there's a lot of habits lah, that kind of things that you learn about people. You know, when you live together, it could be good or bad, depending on how you want to look at it lah. I'm sure I also have habits lah. There must be on the other side of the coin. You must say, Gina must close all the window when she leave the house.
Yeah.
So they are like, huh? And then it's like, Juwita must sweep the floor every day.
Yeah. Juwita's mother.
But okay, sidetrack. There's a research that shows that back then people don't sweep their floor every day.
Maybe life was just less dusty.
No, but they mop their floors every day.
Oh, yes, we had this conversation somewhere. Was it with you or somebody?
I don't know. So I must say there was also like, okay, don't know what's the common sense in it, but yeah.
My nephew used to mop the floor every day. He said it was for the dog or because of the dog. I'm not sure. But yeah, it was a thing.
So mopping is cleaner, I guess. I guess lah. Don't know. Anyway, after the break, we shall tackle the other two situations.
This episode is brought to you by Joy Luck Penang. This place is in Tanjung Bunga, which might be a little bit far for those of you in Georgetown, but it's the only place I can think of where you can just order a drink and have your event. So you want to do trainings, you want to do capacity building events, you can actually do it there, a community space. So look up Joy Luck Penang.
All right, the next two situations are a little bit interesting and spicy.
Okay.
The statement is, you don't know a person until money is involved.
Wow.
So again, you cannot start with blank slate. I start first.
I've got two pictures in my head.
Come.
But yeah.
Come. Give it to me first before you forget.
Until money is involved. Okay, so this one you're talking about knowing somebody.
Yeah.
I have two pretty close friends.
Okay.
Both guys. That I think the way they handle money or their view of money really like, whoa, made me surprised. So one is, we go sell CDs.
Okay.
Like we used to go sell merchandise, right? And then you collect money. So this is sales of products and the money doesn't belong to you. Okay. So I have this rule, even from small, like if you're the treasurer of the class and you kutip wang already to buy t-shirt or whatever, this money is kept in an envelope. It's not my money. I don't take anything out of it.
Okay.
Right? It's going to be there. And that's just me. Like, I don't know whether everybody functions like that, but that was me. And I remember there was one day I broke into the house and I'm like, oh no, is the money okay? Because it's not mine. I'm not really so worried about my own money, right? But I'm worried about the
Public money.
the class punya money. It was like a few hundred lah. I wasn't like, like 5-figure or anything. But still, it was other people's money. Okay? Okay, so back to this friend lah. Then I realized, right, in this working relationship, like, let's say I already go, and then after that we go makan, right? And he'd be like, oh, come on, I use this money first. We pay for lunch. Nah, I'll put back one. But to me, right, it's like, what, really? Like,
wow, today I learned something about Juwita.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch that unless we understand it's a money pool. But then now there's different lah. Now there's transfer. Life has changed lah. At that time,
even
for me,
back at that time,
yeah,
I might do that.
Okay.
For example, the sales is 1,000 ringgit. We're having lunch.
Yeah.
And then we agreed that lunch should be covered by the organization or whatever is it, right? But I don't have a person money to pay first.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
The only cash I have is that 1,000 because I only have 10 ringgit, right?
No,
Okay.
but if it's understood that it's organization will cover,
So the guy
this is organization money.
So the guy offered the organization money, you mean?
He was pinjaming the organization money because he didn't have cash first lah, correct lah.
Correct. If I didn't have cash first, I would just use that money and I say, okay, I collected 1,000
Yeah.
Okay, then I pay lunch. I go back, I replenish the 1,000, I give back. I have no problem with that.
But I don't know. It wasn't just like that. It was sometimes like, oh, my mother need to go clinic first. Use that money first. But I think for me, it's using money that you don't have. It's like using money on credit, which I wasn't very comfortable.
Yeah, perhaps lah.
With
So
lah.
for me, I know I have the money. I just go home and put it back. I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm not borrowing it and say 3 weeks later, that one a bit wrong lah.
True lah. I don't know. At that point, it felt like it was borrowing. It was using it as credit lah, in a sense lah. So it made me feel a little bit that one. The other story was, this one is just different values lah, I suppose. I remember we talked about parking and paying parking fees and all that, right? Okay, so I had a friend once. We had arrived at the airport, and then airport parking fees can be quite high. I can't remember what it is now, right? Then there's a touter who came and said, hey, I give you this one, you can pay 30 ringgit only. Give me 30 ringgit, you give me your ticket, I'll exchange a ticket for you, only need to pay 30 ringgit. And I was like, okay, cool. So he exchanged to cheat the system lah. To me, it's cheating the system lah. And on that moment, I'm like, huh? My friend like that one it's like, he's still my good friend? But my brain was like, wow, what if I wasn't interested with him? He was his normal friend. But straight away, because I think his girlfriend was there also, then I'm thinking, if my life partner is like that, I don't think I could. Every day we are going to have this argument about whether you should do this, break the law.
If you have a life partner, you must talk about money.
But yeah, that one was like, I thought I know him. So this one was like way bigger than the previous example. That one's like, I borrow and put back, right? But this one I was like, wow, could I have a life partner that's like that? Not that he was in the contention, but yeah, it suddenly made me go like,
something to, trigger point.
Trigger point. Yeah, like you said, don't know somebody until I would not have seen that coming.
Yeah, I think the easiest thing about understanding people's value or principle about money is when you are paying money together lah. Is when, for example, like I always said, my sister was very calculative.
Okay.
We buy a book $49.90. If I pay first, $50, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's supposed to pay me 25, right?
Yeah.
No, it's 24.95. Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, I cannot.
Okay, 5 cents would be a bit what lah. If it was 2 ringgit, I might lah.
Yeah. So, but this what I mean that it shows the kind of person. Then you know that if she counts 5 cents in the future, everything changes in your relationship.
Yeah.
You go on a holiday or you go you buy a gift for your mother, everything changes.
Right.
Compared to like, I remember quite strangely, don't know why I remember the episode where that whole 95 cent thing, right?
Okay.
But in general, my family is not like that.
Okay.
What I mean by that is, for example, if we go out for a meal, 4 of us, okay, I pay once, twice, then my parents will pay because she knows that I one person pay for 4 person. I want to eat with you, but I have to pay for extra 3%, you know.
Yeah.
But instead of bringing it out to count, we just mentally just keep a note that, Gina has paid lunch twice.
Yeah.
The next 2 times should be them because why? There are 3 person eating and 1 person eating, Or sometimes my mom don't even count. So like my brother, for example, now, instead of like 3 of them live together,
Yeah.
on the count, very hard to count. So my parents would tell my brother, you pay for drinks, we pay for food.
Okay.
So it's around there lah. Don't calculate for around there lah, you know.
Okay.
Then we are jalan. So you really don't know a person until the money thing come out. And then once you know it, you know how to function.
Okay.
Function as in, if you know a person calculative like that, when you go holiday, immediately you have a pool of money, you just divide. Then don't every view take out a receipt, count.
Right,
you know,
right,
there
right,
is
right,
certain mechanism that you can put into it lah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you really like, you won't know until, so if colleagues you won't know one, very good, okay? One day you go out, lunch together.
Yeah.
Then you, the money like that one. You have some who like, I just belanja lah. You have some like, no, must count until the dot. Then you have some like, next round on me
Yeah.
Very different
But I think it also
personality.
depends, right, on what they can afford, right? Because sometimes people order food according to what they are willing to pay.
Correct.
Yeah, so also understanding that lah.
Correct lah. So you really, for me, just looking at the situations is something that you need to do with your future partners lah.
Oh yeah.
Okay? Because the last situation is, you don't know a person until you deal with them when they're angry. This is really true one. You can have nice colleagues and whatever not, right? One day your colleague angry, suddenly you're like, hey, got monster came out. Or how they deal with their anger is very important. For example, I was under team A.
Okay.
At work lah. There's team A leader and team B leader. They're totally different personality.
Okay.
So my team leader is the kind of like, if she gets angry, he's very internal about it. Very quiet. He will just very strict and tap. Very stern.
Yeah.
He managed his anger by being stern and correct stuff. And then team B leader is the kind where she get angry, complain, bitch, and then might not solve the issue So that's the reason, might not solve the issue is a totally big contrast. But let's say she complain, she solve the issue, then you also see what kind of person they are lah. Okay, showing anger. No, some people show anger is just immediate shout.
Yes.
Some people is like my team leader, internal one. The more quieter he is, the scarier, because you know he's super angry until he cannot talk.
Okay, but the thing is, right, I think when you say about knowing somebody, in their anger is when all the inhibitions are lifted.
The true colours in a way.
So you would also kind of know, right, if that person has been keeping score of all the bad things.
Correct.
Or all the things that they are unhappy with you, for example. So it's like suddenly angry, right? Wow, all the past sins all come out. Like, remember you did this? Always like that one. The last time I saw you did. Then you know, oh my gosh, this person has been keeping score on you, right? Or some people, I don't know, like angry, then they self beat up. Then you know that, this one
true.
Yeah, so it's true lah.
It's a very the situation where people are the most vulnerable.
On that score, right? Then also when they're drunk.
Oh, you think so? I don't think so.
No?
Because I feel that drunk is two things.
Okay.
One is you really unable to control one. But it doesn't reflect your personality is what I'm saying.
You might see what's inside or what's in the head, but you might not. Yeah, it's not really their true colours in a sense.
It might be show you what's inside, but the other thing is physically lah. Some people that they drink, right, then they start to like get dizzy. Or they start to act funny. But it's not them.
It's not the real them. It's something that is controlling the effect. Okay lah.
The physical thing.
But then anger, you've got some external thing that is also.
But anger you can control. You don't have a chemical in your body that is changing the way you react and cannot control.
I guess so.
Yeah. So for me, like, I wouldn't judge a person when the person is drunk.
Okay.
Because it give me maybe a glimpse of what their true thoughts is or true emotion. But a lot of the things they do, it's not judgeable lah.
Right. Okay, fair enough.
If doesn't mean that fellow dance like crazy, the fellow is a crazy dancer. It's just not controllable, right?
Correct.
But compared to anger or let's say sad or whatever, it's a controllable emotion.
For some maybe not everybody. Some people, I think.
So I might not be pleased with my friends who take off their clothes when they're drunk.
But that's not the real them
for them. Yeah,
correct.
I would just say it's part of the alcohol.
But what if you're so angry and you start breaking things and all that?
I mean, it shows your personality, lor.
But there is something that is causing them to lose control, right? It might even be a chemical imbalance.
Correct. Then
that-
I would just say that they have an anger management issue.
issue.
I cannot say that she got a dance management issue because she does it of alcohol
Okay,
lah.
okay, fair enough.
So more of
Yeah.
that. But I think when a person is angry, most of the time their guards are down and they are at an offensive mode.
Yes.
So it's seeing what they do when they are in offensive mode that shows you a lot of things about them. How
Yeah.
far or how great the extent that they will go to hurt people or
Right.
do something out of their anger. Wow, shows a lot about them lah. Of course, you also can put yourself in a situation like you don't know a person until they are super sad. Or
or
until
they're grieving.
Yeah.
Or
Then you realize that
Until
this person might be actually the emotion very deep or
Yeah.
something like that.
True.
So it's quite interesting thing. So what I was attracted about this poster is if I'm looking for a partner in life, I want to make sure I at least go through 4 or 5 of this situation lah.
before you decide.
Yeah.
True.
Because
Yeah.
if we are always in a honeymoon period, everything is nice and going,
Yeah.
that's doesn't work for me. So what is interesting here is normally we said nowadays young people they like to go honeymoon first before they get married. Okay. And do they stay in the same room and all that thing, right? So for me, right, it's like really just opening the mind of, let's say, not because of our religion, Christian, we don't believe in sex before marriage. But let's say if you share a room, no sex.
Yeah.
Just learning about each other's sleeping habit or whatever habit might not be a bad thing.
Might help in the longer scheme of things.
Correct. You
At least you know that when you get married already, right?
The fella
you don't have to
snore
sleep
one.
in separate rooms.
Yeah, correct. The fella snore one, or the fella like to put the clothes like that one, or the fella like to whatever one, then you do. So I said, even if, let's say, moving in together, you can be housemates first. You don't have to share in the same master bedroom, Because I find that I learned a lot of things about my housemate when I live together, and a lot of things I thought, these are things that I want to experience with my life partner before I commit.
Yeah.
Like how you wash your clothes, how you do your dishes. Hello,
Right.
if I get married,
whether you even do it, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Some people they go like, hey, I don't cook one, or I don't wash one, Whether you can live together in a house as housemate, doing daily chores together,
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
So I suppose temptation, you can always put guardrails lah.
Correct.
Guardrails, where to draw the line.
Correct.
Like, so that you don't what we say, limpas kalau bahasa Sabah.
So it's like, for me, like traveling together shows you a different glimpse, or managing money together. Actually, a lot of people don't talk about finance with their life partners.
Yeah.
Like, ideally, you might not even know how much your boyfriend earn or don't earn, the kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just a guessing game.
Yeah.
But if you're starting a family together, then you should roughly know lah. Hey, our lifestyle is, do we eat IKEA one or do we don't eat IKEA one?
Yeah.
Or is it a treat every day or is it not a treat?
Betul.
So those are some things that you really need to talk through lah.
Yeah.
Because then you also bring it back to your family. Imagine you get married. Then your mother said, hey, your husband count with me 5 cents.
Yeah.
Then it's a potential conflict that you might know. It's not a bad thing. It's not say, my husband count you 5 cents. Then don't
At least
get
you
married.
go into it with eyes open.
Correct.
And don't surprise.
Then you know, and then you can have certain mechanism in place to manage it with the external party or internal party.
Yeah.
So if you want to know a person better, you need to do a few things. Travel with them, stay and live with them, talk about money, and get into fights.
Jom Sembang Malaysia is hosted by 2 Malaysians who are passionate about Malaysian stuff. Stay tuned every week for a brand new Sembang session with Juwita Suwito and Gina Yoong. Today's episode is recorded at Studio 2105. Remember to click like and subscribe for a brand new episode next week.